So the first border we get to, the cop turns us around, he pulls us over for speeding, turns us around, says, hey, we gotta go all the way through Croatia. Now Jay here is like, nah, fuck that. There's another border right around the fucking corner. So we get to that border, we're starting to go through.
Hell, and it might have been faster to go through Croatia after the drama that just ensued.
Fucking crazy. They're like, hey, you don't have your insurance. We're like, hey, this feels like a bribe situation. So he goes, pull the car to the left, and he's like, all right, how much? Been in this situation before. So they made up this whole story about not having the right insurance that I'm sure they sell right at the border, because we just had to buy, what, 2 or 3 of them already? Those border insurance?
Yeah, so in theory, you have to have insurance for every single country, unless you're in the EU, where you can get a single card that covers all the countries in the EU.
Yes. And the last border, we were gonna get that one, but we didn't have enough money on us. It's just didn't have enough spare cash, so we just bought that one. So he's like, all right, you know, you slipped 40 euros inside.
Just put it right here in passport.
Put it in the passport.
Not in my hand, but right here in passport.
Inside of the passport. After talking for a while, the passport will take care of you.
The physical documents, passport documents, acted as the middlemen in this bribe situation. So the money never actually touched their hands.
It didn't.
Therefore, in their minds, technically, it was not a bribe.
It was not a bribe.
Semantics.
Fucking Bosnia, man. But we're in now after that, 30-minute wait.
I just know that they're eating into my waterfall time, and I don't like it.
We gotta see these fucking waterfalls, man. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Well, we just arrived to the Kravika waterfall.
Yes.
Famous waterfall in Bosnia. And it's pretty desolate out here, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm excited though.
We walked up to pay for our ticket like the good, upstanding individuals that we are.
Yeah.
And he said, just go.
Let's get in there.
Just go.
Do your thing.
We don't care. There's no one here.
We give up. There's nobody here.
Ignore that lady that walked behind us. That's the first person we've seen in 3 hours.
The ocean is calm, I can't reach my voice. You hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, hump day. Let's get down in there.
Go swim. You want to swim?
Yeah, in the good Lord's bathtub.
All right. All right.
On me side.
Oh, I'm coming.
I'm so sorry, say it one more time. Do you feel my love? I know you're mine. I'm so sorry, say it one more time. Do you feel my love? Ever get enough? I'm so sorry, say it one more time.
My.
Yeah, I know you're
Thought about going for a longer swim, but hey, it's cold out there.
Que frio, que frio. What? Oh, you asked me what paradise looks like. Man, I'm not really sure, but I imagine it looks something like this. just got to Mostar out here in Bosnia.
Hey you, now I see true, 'cause I know what I found in you. And you can be sure that I will make you happy too. Hey you, now I see true. 'Cause I know what I found in you. And you can be sure that
So here in Mostar in Bosnia, before the 90s, was the most marriages between different religions out of all of the Balkans. And in 1992, when the war happened, from 1992 to 1995, 70% of all of Mostar was destroyed. Like, you can still see the buildings that were destroyed, the bullet holes and everything, what it looked like before and after. And now, it's like 1% of marriages that people will marry outside their religion, which is, it's sad. It's crazy history.
Mostar has always been one of the most coveted places in all of Bosnia. The history here goes back thousands of years, goes back to the Middle Ages, and you had at one point the Ottoman Empire that took over. You had at another point the Austrian-Hungarian Empire that took over. So just this rolling bit of history, why this town looks so ancient. It's got all these really old school looking sort of village aspects to it, and it was actually a really harmonious place to live up until the war that took place in all of Yugoslavia, which started in the early 90s. People coexisted, people intermarried between religions, between races, ethnicities. It was a very idyllic place. Post-war, the city is now very much divided into an eastern and western faction. You got people from each side of the city that had never visited the other side. Meanwhile, we're walking back and forth across these bridges that separate the city on both sides of this river that you see right here. Absolutely stunning and charming. And it's been a whole different place, divided by war, divided by hatred, and yet you'd never really know it coming here as a tourist because it's just enchanting right here in the center pulse of the town. It feels like something straight out of the Middle Ages or a fairy tale book.
And they'll have 2 different post offices, 2 different bits for each side of those religions. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
Having said all of that, we're gonna go have a beer by the river and just sort of meditate on what to most tourists just looks like an absolutely beautiful gem of a fairy tale village, but it's got a really interesting history that, believe it or not, only about 20 years ago, this was a war-torn destruction zone. And so they've rebuilt it. They're continuing to grow, continuing to evolve, but to me, it's astonishing how far they've come in 25 years.
And it's still one of the most beautiful cities, I would say, in
Gorgeous.
all of Europe.
One of the most beautiful, classic European village, looking stops that you'll see in all of Europe, for sure.
It's incredible. Incredible.
A single white rose in a field of red.
So we're on the last leg of our trip in Montenegro, headed to Terra Canyon.
Go out with a bang.
Go out with a big bang, 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 bang. We're going whitewater rafting, and it's gonna be delightful. It's gonna be absolutely delightful.
I'm excited to see what it's like to whitewater raft in winter temperature-like waters.
Yes, I am so excited to see what it will finally be like to become a woman, because my balls will be so far in my stomach, they ain't coming out anytime soon.
I've had exactly 3 espressos this morning, and I don't think it was even necessary because this water is going to keep us alive or kill us, one or the other, for
Either
the
one.
entire rest of the day.
Probably gonna be jacked or dead. Either way,
Or Tara can't.
which is the second deepest canyon in the world next to Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon is the deepest canyon in the world. This is the deepest canyon in Europe, second deepest in the whole world.
Yeah.
Pretty darn excited. This is going to be an epic adventure. And so the last epic adventure of this Balkans trip begins. Have to start off, of course, with a complete breakfast. None other than the famous Bosnian beer, which I do believe is my favorite of all the local Balkan beers.
Gotta get your nutrients in 4 basic food groups: crack, cocaine, beer.
And don't forget
Beer.
beer and cerveza. And cerveza.
Chibali. Keep warm on that river now. Oh.
I love my Balkans moonshine. I was almost positive they were asking me if I needed some waterproof shoes. No, the question was, would you like some schnapps? Love Montenegro.
Our homemade rakia.
Jibali. And then pasta.
We just got suited up. Tara Canyon, whitewater rafting. Let's go.
With the sun at my side, peeking in through the blinds. Didn't say you were coming over, but I'm down for the ride. I'm hopping in your four-wheel drive on the city blue skies. I'm feeling this vibe, wish I keep it going. Heading out of town and we got no doubts. Just put the top down, we can keep it open. If I could go anywhere, I would stay right here. I would stay right here.
Post-game meal, in this case, fresh trout from the same river that we just destroyed with oars, whitewater rafting. You look very smug and proud of yourself.
Feel proud of myself.
Fit for a king, a river king.
Ooh la la! Happy not Friday night.
Oh la la! Oh, hey, stop it, babe. Very
Je vous
exciting.
aime, je vous
Very
aime.
exciting stuff.
Yeah. What can we say here?
Sometimes I think these butterflies are real.
Butterflies are so real. We are just some Americans. I just had 2 unicorns jumping behind me.
They're not real unicorns. They're not real.
But the number 1 real unicorn is right there. Oh.
You Sunday fun day, bro? Do you?
Do you even limoncello, my man? Do you? I don't know if you do, but if you do, man, how about saying?
Welcome to Tirana. We miss you. Have a look at this scenery. Sunday fun day indeed. Hope your day is going well. We will see you. Birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you.
What up? So we're on top of a mountain in Tirana right now. It is towards the end of our trip. It's the last little trickle. You know when you go take a piss, it's the last little drop.
8 days turned into 3 weeks, very quickly, very unexpectedly. But here we are, we made it, we're alive, slightly more enlightened, certainly more physically compromised.
Definitely dehydrated.
We made a new friend.
I love you.
We met her in a cave, as you saw. We were in that cave.
We were all in
a
the cave.
couple caves. We all met in
Don't
the
worry
cave.
about what happened in that cave.
It is history
It is,
now.
That's for us.
If you
It
want
is
to think
something
about it like that.
You mind fucking business. I don't know why you were still watching this video. It's the end.
So enjoy, end of the trip. Love you, Albania. Love you, Balkans.
Last of it. Gazuar.
Salutations.
Jibali.
Jibali. Gazuar.
Peace.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Goodbye.